Hello and welcome to Stockton Junction. Today's video, as in the description, is a review on the new Hornby buffet restaurant coaches. These coaches that I have, I've bought the pair of different ones. If I can just get this to focus. So that is the R4973, which is this one, and the 4973A, which is this one. So the only difference in the two coaches is the running number. So this one here, which is 4973, is M1712, and this one here, 4973A, is M1657. The reason I bought one of each is because the only difference is the running numbers, so that means I can have one with one train, one with another train, and have different running numbers. Some people are very fussy about running numbers, so obviously the fact that they've brought out the two versions for that sort of person is ideal. Right, so I'm going to do the unboxing. I've already undone one flap off camera because it takes ages to do this without actually ripping all of these, so I didn't want to spend forever doing that on camera. So as per usual, pretty standard Hornby boxes with the ice pack to hold the coach. That to the side. Pretty decent packaging. I'm quite happy with this style of packaging because it protects the coach very nicely. So the only thing you get extra with it is a couple of the little couplings which you can put on if you want to detail the ends of the coach. Now, first impressions on this coach, I'm pretty happy with it. There's a little hole there for the little buckeye couplings if you want to fit those on. They're just cosmetic. Well, I've done a bit of research on this vehicle, and to be honest, it's pretty good. It's made very well. All the windows and doors are pretty much in the right places. The model itself, the paintwork is nice. There's no bleeding on the paint, as pretty usual with the Hornby products, and I'm quite happy with that model. Right, so I've already undone the other one. I'm just going to put that down. There's a little bit of a roll there, and it would couple up with that one, typical. I've undone the other coach already. Oh, 2 seconds. I'm going to put that there to stop them rolling away. Right, so if we can bring this up, I'm just going to move the camera so that I can see a little bit better. So if we look at the coach in detail, it's got a nice little handrail there, which does seem to be, I think they're painted on, but they do look good. Again, same there, little handrail by the door, and again at the end there by the door. Just try to get a bit better focus on that. There we go. As you can see, oh, dust on that. As you can see, the kitchen sign is quite good, even though it's so tiny you can't actually see it very well normally. And the detailing on this model is pretty good. I did look, and for the people that are doing more modern stuff, Aviva have actually just repainted this actual one of these coaches. In fact, this one, 1657. And if you were going to model this for the Aviva for more modern, there's only a couple of differences on this, the repaint on this one to the older one. My zoom's gone in for some reason. Right, so if we have a look on the end details, I'll just get something to point with, right there, you'll see there's a little round dot. Now on the Aviva one, that little round dot there is orange. So if you wanted to make this more in suiting for what they've done for recent things, I'd suggest painting those orange there. There's also a bottom step just here, and these handrails going down the side here. On the new repaint, these are white. So again, if you were doing it for the more modern period, which is in use right now, you'd want to paint those white, and that little thing there orange. That little ball there is actually the joint for the cabling that goes from coach to coach. So on the British Rail era though, they weren't painted, they were just dull and dirty. So the reason I've taken the coach off, that's the other side. There's only one downside to these Hornby models, and that is on the real coaches, this window here was white, but these top windows weren't whited out, and these were able to open obviously to get some ventilation in. So I'm not happy about that. And the same goes for this window here. In fact, this bottom part was white, this top part was not white. So Hornby, if you're watching this, get it sorted, because you do this on a lot of your models where you white a window out, you white out the top parts as well, which weren't whited. You need to only do part. It would make it much more prototypical. And also I noted on the Aviva model I have, which is the obviously the remake of this model, I've looked at all of these vents and all of these, and they are correct. Every single one on here is correct. The only difference is on the Aviva one, and I cannot get an image of the BR80s periods from a roof perspective. But if you look up this coach number, you will see on Google the Aviva repaint of this, and there is 3 pipes, and there's 2 tiny little pipes over here somewhere, and one about here. They're absolutely minuscule. It'd just be represented by a tiny piece of wire maybe. If you wanted to redo those, you could drill a micro hole in there and put a thin piece of black painted wire. Would be ideal to represent those, and it would be very easy to do. But I would do it if I could find an image of the BR period, 80s, 90s that I'm doing with them on there, but I can't find that image. So the other reason I've taken the top off is because I wanted to look at the interior. So going the bogie frame itself, I'll just take these off, and the metal weight. Bogie frame is pretty decent. It's got some detail on there which makes it look a little bit better. Again, on the Aviva model, not on the BR model, there was little yellow markings on the edges of these power unit boxes here. There was also warning signs on the centres, and the same on the other side for these ones. So that's something you might want to consider if you're doing it for the newer period. Other than that, it's your pretty standard made in China bogie frame for the coaches. Okay. But it's decent. It's all right. It's gonna need some weathering. Right. So looking at the interior again. Sorry, I also forgot to add that the weight that sticks in it, it's got some double-sided tape so it sticks down, is substantial. It gives it a decent enough weight for the coach. You wouldn't want it too much heavier. Right, so looking at this coach interior is naff. I think that's the one thing Hornby let themselves down on, is interiors of what coaches. I mean, look how awful that looks. Come on. In real life, behind the back here, along this back wall would have been cabinets. They could have represented those cabinets, given us some things to paint to make some detail. As it is, I'm going to have to paint this whole thing because I want to make this look better. So the first job, and I'll do a video on painting this coach interior later on. I'm not in a rush to do it, so the first thing I'm going to do is give it a spray paint of grey primer, just to give it a coat, because looking at this plastic, I don't think it's going to paint very well if you wanted to go straight in with your brush paints, bang, stick in paint. I don't think it's going to go very well. I think it needs priming. But these are absolutely awful. I mean, I don't even know how you're going to fit people in there. These coach seats here, there is not enough room to sit a person on that. They've got all this space here. They could have made the seating a bit wider, a bit further out, so there's enough room to put a person in there, because there isn't. So that's not good, Hornby. Come on. Anyway, I'm going to get on with painting that in the near future, and I will do a video on that for the people that would like to see it. I'm going to make it so that at least when you look inside the coach, you don't see this dark horrible colour. You'll see the proper coloured walls. Obviously the floor, I'll leave the grey primer because that will do for that. Tables and chairs will be painted up. If I get a couple of people at least standing at the hatchway, and I'll see what I can do about putting a person in there, but I'm pretty much confident that we're not going to get people in those chairs. They look absolutely ridiculous. So for the coach, 9 out of 10. You know, for the paintwork and everything else, brilliant. But that let it down, Hornby. Big style, in my opinion. Let me know what you think. Feel free to add your comments. Maybe Hornby will actually read these reviews one day. You never know, so it might be worth commenting. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you all soon.